Hello, today's review is on the movie The Faculty. So the plot of this movie is one day at this school, this football coach, played by Robert Patrick, looks up and finds this alien, and it ends up possessing him. And the next day at school, all the kids are just living their life in high school, and they start to notice that he's acting pretty weird, and even some of the staff of the school acts pretty weird. So these six teenagers, Zeke Tyler, who's a drug dealer who's secretly hiding ecstasy in some pens, trying to deal them to school, who and later getting in trouble for it. Casey Connor, played by Elijah Wood, who's a photographer for the school newspaper. Stan Rosazzo, who's who's a former football player who quits due to pressure. Delilah Prophet, played by Jordana Brewster, who's a school cheerleader. Mary Beth Hutchinson, who's a new student at the school, who's has starts to develop a little crush on Zeke, and Stokely Mitchell, who's this shy, timid emo girl who's been kind of the target of a bunch of harassment and rumors that she's a lesbian. So they all form together and try to find the source of why the teachers are all acting weird, and they find out it's about this alien species that's happening, and they try to save the day and prevent the whole school from being killed. This was a fun film. It's more of a sci-fi film. I guess it is a horror movie, but it's more of a science fiction film. Like, I don't know. To me, I usually think, I did say this in my review of Nope, stuff about aliens I don't think is really that scary, if you get what I mean. Because, I don't know, maybe it's because aliens are in so much, like, non-horror media, like action films and superhero movies and such. And, like, there's so much, like, aliens are kind of a concept. Like, the novelty of them wears off. They don't seem really scary. But this movie, like, it knows what it is. It's very much like a B movie with a little bit of a bigger budget. This movie, like I said, it came out in 1998, so obviously, like, the production values aren't the best, but like for late 90s, like sci-fi standards, I guess it's okay. Like but it's fun. It knows what it wants to be. The acting, it's still pretty good. It's like, kind of a typical like science fiction cheese fest kind of movie. This movie is really much like a B movie, but which is part of the reason why I this movie's really fun. It's like all the teenagers, all the kids do pretty good. I mean, some of them are went on to do bigger stuff. Like Elijah Wood, a couple years later, went to do Lord of the Rings, which is one of the biggest movie trilogies ever. And like he's good in this kind of role. I think as like a younger guy, a senior high school student more so. Like he's good. Like when it comes to like you can tell like it's one of his earliest roles. Jordana Brewster is in it before she did Fast and Furious. Usher's in it, which, yeah, I don't. Has Usher even been in any other movies? Because it's kind of funny he was in this. And even there's even some good supporting cast. Robert Patrick is in it, who played the T-1000 in Terminator 2. Salma Hayek has a brief role as the school nurse. She's in the movie for a little bit. And yeah, it's fun. Like the effects aren't that great. Like there's some really bad, really dated 90s CGI, which yeah, judging for that, like you can tell when this movie was made, but it's good. Like I said, like all the stuff about like the aliens possessing other people, like it's fun. Like it's really over the top, kind of like John Carpenter's The Thing, like just a supernatural creature possession story. Like it's really over the top and it's really bizarre, but that's what makes it fun. Like the movie's not really scary, to be honest. Like I said, like even though this is technically a horror film, I wasn't really scared. I mean, there is some blood in it, but that's really it. It's not really scary. The movie was more like it felt more like a science fiction kind of action film. It's not really an action movie, but it didn't really feel scary, but that's not really a huge problem because at least it was entertaining. And I guess if you look at it this way, if this movie happened in real life, it would be pretty terrifying. Like, imagine going to a school and the teachers start acting weird, and you find out that there are a bunch of evil aliens taking over. It's a crazy film. Like, it's really over the top, like I said, and it's basically like kind of like one of those late night monster movies that you'd like see on the Sci-Fi Channel. It kind of has a feeling like that, but with somewhat big names. It's a fun movie. It's not great, but I mean it's Robert Rodriguez. Robert Rodriguez, like his stuff, like he usually kind of does that kind of low budget kind of B movie style, like he did from Dusk Till Dawn and like some other stuff. So like his style does really work with this kind of like cheesy kind of alien story. So I do think he was a good pick for this kind of movie. I mean, I that's one of the reasons I like Robert Rodriguez. He is a really good director. Not so much as kids movies, but his other stuff I do really like. I still gotta check out From Dusk Till Dawn. I gotta see that one pretty soon. But it's a fun movie. I know it wasn't really a huge hit when it came out, and even in terms of Robert Rodriguez's movies, no one really brings this one up. But I think it's deserving of more attention. I think it's very fun if you like alien films or just want to see like a I don't want to say modern day B because this movie came out over 20 years ago, but if you want to see like a 90s style B movie, I think this is a good one to check out. It's not really scary. Like you don't have to watch this before Halloween, but it's really fun. I do think it's worthy of a watch. It's really got that sci-fi, silly campiness to it that you really admire. It's very much like Evil Dead. Like if you liked Evil Dead, I think you'll really like this one. It's got that really campy, kind of weird, wacky horror style, which sometimes that's just fun to watch. Like even if not everything horror movies completely scary, sometimes if it's just really fun to watch, that's all you want. And I mean, it's really hard to make a movie about an alien invasion not at least a little entertaining. So, yeah, The Faculty, it's a pretty good film. I think it's really underrated in terms of Robert Rodriguez's films, and I do think, and I hope it gets worthy of maybe a cult following. I guess it kind of does have one, but hopefully it'll get more attention soon in terms of, Robert Rodriguez's work, because I think more of his work needs to be recognized, not just Spy Kids. So, yeah, The Faculty, it's pretty good. It's very fun, cheesy, and very much what you'd expect from like a creature feature. So, it's a good film. So, I'll see you with whatever I got my sleeve next. So, bye.